Hey kids, it's June 7th, 2026, Sunday. It was a good Sunday. Tomorrow starts a week full of travel for me, but luckily we got to spend some good time together today. I'll miss you over the next 4 days, and I'll see you again on Friday morning. Today, I want to talk about reading. Reading is one of the most powerful ways to learn, and I absolutely love it. Now, reading good books isn't always easy. There are thousands of books out there, and not all of them will be relevant to you. And unless reading itself becomes one of your hobbies, it might not always feel like a priority. For most of my life, I wasn't happy with how much I read. If I'm honest, I probably averaged around 4 books a year. That changed about 2.5 years ago. I don't remember the exact date. It was sometime around February, maybe 2024. Anyway, by this August, it'll have been about 2.5 years since everything changed. I was driving back from Switzerland after a work trip. I love long-distance driving. I'm sure we'll have a conversation about that one day too. I was listening to music while driving through Germany, and I had also been listening to a YouTube channel. An older gentleman talking about economics and similar topics. Eventually, I ran out of videos. I stopped at a gas station, and I remembered that I had one free audiobook through one of those apps. I thought, well, it's free. Why not? The funny thing is that I had never seriously considered audiobooks before. I wasn't satisfied with how little I read, but I had convinced myself that audiobooks simply wouldn't work for me. You see, I'm a very pensive person. I get lost in my own thoughts easily. I assumed that I'd hear one interesting idea, drift off thinking about it for 15 minutes, and completely miss the rest of the book, but I gave it a try. I increased the playback speed to 1.5 times almost immediately, and I finished the book. It was probably an 8-hour audiobook, and with the increased speed, I got through it in 5 or 6 hours, and something clicked. I had never been so immersed in a book before. Not because that particular book was the greatest book ever written, but because, apparently, listening was my thing. During that same trip through Germany, I upgraded my membership so I could access more audiobooks. And since then, I've listened to around 100 books a year. Even saying that out loud sounds a little crazy. And honestly, I'm proud of it. It feels like a superpower. But here's the important part. It's not about the number of books. It's about what those books do for you. Reading, or in my case, listening, made the world much clearer to me. What do I mean by that? Well, we all have what people sometimes call unknown unknowns. Things we don't know and don't even realize that we don't know. The more I read, the more I realized how much there was to discover. But at the same time, life became less confusing. Patterns started to emerge. Connections appeared. And because I was consuming so many ideas, I could afford to experiment a little more. I could read outside my usual interests. I could abandon books that weren't serving me. I could follow my curiosity. Another interesting thing happened. When you read a lot, especially across different disciplines, you start noticing the same ideas appearing over and over again. A concept introduced in a philosophy book shows up again in a psychology book. An economic principle echoes through a history book. Something from sociology suddenly explains a challenge in leadership. Those repetitions matter. When different thinkers from different fields arrive at similar conclusions, it usually means there's something worth paying attention to. Of course, I don't remember everything I've read. At this point, we're probably talking about more than 250 books. Many details have faded, ideas blend together, but even that has a benefit. Because when I encounter a problem, I often remember that I've come across relevant ideas before. I may not remember the exact wording, but I know where to look. Reading helps you connect the dots. Sometimes, it isn't a brand new idea. It's seeing how one idea applies across multiple areas of life. That's where wisdom begins to emerge. Now, there is one very important caveat, and I want you to remember this. Knowing something and applying something are two completely different things. Reading 250 books doesn't automatically make you wise. It doesn't automatically make you kind or disciplined. Someone could ask, "That's great, Dad, but how much have you actually put into practice?" And that would be a fair question. Because information alone isn't enough. Knowledge needs action. Having said that, reading has undoubtedly improved my life. It has made me more thoughtful. It has broadened my perspective. It has helped me understand people better. And I genuinely believe it has made me a better person. But if I could give you one piece of advice, it would be this. Don't focus on the number of books. If you read 50 books and genuinely apply them, that's far more valuable. So however you choose to do it, whether through books, audiobooks, articles, or whatever formats exist, keep learning, stay curious, consume meaningful information, reflect on it, and most importantly, use it. Bring those lessons into your life, experiment with them, test them, adapt them, because learning isn't about collecting knowledge, it's about becoming. Anyway, that's enough for today. And as usual, don't ever forget, I love you both very, very much.